Hey, buddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to Timberborn. And we're continuing on from where we left off. Our wonderful beavers have created a self-sustaining society with new little beavers being born constantly. In fact, yesterday I had 3 new beavers be born. We currently have 6 unemployed beavers, and I think I know how I'm going to make use of them. I would like to unlock a gear workshop so I could start to produce gear, because some of the next higher tech stuff actually requires gears from planks. And I also think it's about time that we started descending down the mountain. So the very first thing we are going to research, of course, is the platform. These little platforms can be used to basically raise the terrain. You can build buildings on them. You can build down them. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with them. But I'm going to use them as a way to bridge down this mountainside so we can reach all the way down to the next plateau and maybe do something interesting down there. They do take a decent amount of planks and a little bit of time to build. And I reckon a good way to make use of these extra unemployed people would be to build a couple of extra inventors up here. And we're going to use the verticality of my town to its advantage. So I will build a nice little stairway up high, and then a fairly simple way to actually get down. Although that said, maybe I should do this differently. Yeah, you know what? I've had a better idea. On mark, let me see. Where's my demolishment tool? Because this could actually act as another way to get down the mountain. If I placed a platform here and here, I could build a nice long stairway all the way down, and then build a little road just on top like that, and then we have another route down the mountain, so people don't have to run. Like if they want to go here, they don't have to run all the way down and then around. They have 2 ways to get up and down. I know, I feel like that's just going to make the pathing a little bit easier. And already we've got our little stairway. Amazing. The little beavers are doing their job. But since I changed how I was going to do things over here, I'll have to completely retool my plans. So you know what, let's just go for 4 full inventors, and that shouldn't take long to build. One of my favorite parts of this game is that you can like build vertically and stuff like that. I think that's one of the coolest parts, because now I have even more inventors, and that'll get me more science. And more science means more inventions, which means a more high-tech town. I think I do need to build a little bit more social life, which means I probably need a rooftop terrace now. And if I'm going to do that, I may as well do it up top on these buildings, like so. Build a little platform so people can get across over to the rooftop terrace. It's probably a good idea too to have like multiple ways for your people to get down and around your town, even if it makes things like slightly awkward because you have to use up one of these things for it. I think it's worthwhile. But now I have 4 more inventors working away, so the amount of science I'm getting now is exploding. Maybe even for the next drought, I'll be able to get myself like a 2-story floodgate in here, which would be amazing. The really cool thing about these platforms is you can get platforms in multiple heights. So if you have a platform that doesn't quite reach where it needs to go, you can either stack 2 on top of each other, or you can just use a taller platform. I think something I would like to do is to maybe fill this little thing with water in a reservoir, or perhaps even use this section here as a way to generate water power during the wet months. If I were to put like 3 water wheels, or even just 2 water wheels, that should power the majority of my wood industry. And then I could actually grow and chop wood nearby for these things. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Oh no, we're getting low on food. Well, that's not very good. Yeah, I'm going to need another farmer. Get 2 more farmers. We'll add a whole bunch of potatoes and a whole bunch of carrots, because we are getting so many new people every single day that it's actually hard to expand our production fast enough. The nice thing is I don't plan on building any more houses, so we won't have too many more issues with population here. I think I won't grow much more than this for a little while until I have all these guys employed, because we are a little bit low on food. Maybe there's some like blueberries I could grab. Oh, I would have to build like a ladder all the way down there, which would be impossible for me right now. And the water's already stopped flowing, so everything's going to dry out really quick. Thankfully, though, I have my own little bit of a reserve of water, which is keeping my crops, from drying out. Even so, though, if you look carefully, you can actually see the pump is sucking up the water. See how the water level is going down every time it pumps? It's because it actually uses up this water. So the depth of the water supply area that you have actually matters a lot. Definitely got some food problems. These farms didn't quite come online fast enough. Okay, if we have a little bit of starvation. I mean, what's a little bit of starvation, right? I think I'm going to build another little dam over here so I have more fresh water and like safe land that I can maybe farm trees on near this area. Because I'd like to turn this into a little bit of a wood production area where I can make wood, turn it into gears, and then use those gears to maybe make paper and stuff like that. That's why I'm building these 2 water mills as well. But if you look, we've actually sucked up all the water from the second level over here. That's actually a good thing that the second layer of water is staying there, because that'll keep everything around here moisturized. Moisturize me. Only 2.2 more days, though, until the drought is over, and then we can build our floodgates. Floodgates are going to give us a lot of control. In fact, I think it's pretty safe now to go ahead and demolish this old dam and rebuild it in a new way. Because all that old water will just flow in and join part of this reservoir, which will go down to these water pumps that are filling up this barrel. Boom, there it is, the double floodgate. And you can see here that they are adjustable height floodgates, which will mean we have much better control over this little reservoir. I used up an awful lot of our wood too during this drought, building these new water mills and this new dam. Probably was not the perfect time to start building new floodgates. Although I'm pretty sure I could just throw down like a couple of lumberjack flags over here and grab some trees. Yay, the water is starting to flow again. No longer will I have to deal with these awful, awful droughts, at least for a little while. And we've got a little bit of wood coming in. You know how beavers love their wood. A lot of my maple seedlings are close to growing. The only downside to maple is they're very, very productive, but they take a very, very long time to actually generate their wood. You tend to be waiting around for a long, long time. But the flowing water is beautiful. We even had a little bit of water flow into here, which is kind of what we wanted. And we can see now that there is a huge green area if we can sustain this water dam here, which I think we will be able to, because I don't plan on pumping water out of here. So this is definitely going to be where I produce an awful lot of my wood. And we're also not too far away from being able to actually produce scrap metal. Nice, we got our first water wheel. Look at it spin. It generates 180 horsepower, which can pretty much power a lumber mill and a gear workshop all on its own. However, we are going to need a paper mill, which takes 80 horsepower. And an explosive factory, which takes 150, which is why I left... Oh, I thought I'd left just enough room for another water mill. We'll have to figure out how we get enough power over here. Might have to involve something tricky using this. Ooh, we got our first floodgate. And the cool thing about this is if you look, you can raise and you can lower it. You could say, hey, I want you to like block all water up to height 2. And now that'll raise the level of the water because it can't flow through this block. But then I can go, let all the water through, and the water will flow straight through this block. And now that we have both the floodgates built, we can actually link them together like this. And so when I raise one of them, it actually raises both. So now I have this fully blocked off, and you can see this area here is backfilling. However, because I have these fully raised, it's gonna overflow like that, which is absolutely not what I want. So I'm gonna lower that back down to 1.5, because obviously you don't want your town to flood. But that's really, really cool. So like, let's say I know the dry season is coming. I could be like, oh crap, right. Dry season is here in a couple of days. Raise all floodgates to max. I don't mind if I get a little bit of flooding upstream, downstream, whatever. I want to save as much water as possible inside my borders. So place down a new forester over here. And this guy's job is going to be to make sure that I have all the wood I need down here in this area. Oh my god, I have so much technology. I've got 740 science. I could unlock the underground warehouse that has a capacity of 4,000. Oh, but it takes gears. Damn it. Maybe I'll get the large warehouse because it has a capacity of 1,000. Oh, my maple trees are finally coming in. I'm going to have so much wood. Do you think your mom will be impressed with the amount of wood I get? Oh, I'm a child. Okay, some of my beavers are starting to die of old age, although I still have tons of unemployed guys, so I don't think I need to make more houses yet. Not until I have all these boys employed. I'm also going to turn this whole area over here into a massive flood basin, where I can hold a ton of water that we can constantly pump out to supply our civilization with water from these pumps. That means I need tons of levees over here. Let's also build a path down from this area I think my beavers deserve a way to get down the mountain that isn't having to go all the way around. I've always liked having lots of diverse ways to get around my cities in these games for my workers. It's probably not the most efficient way to do things, but it's the way I like to do things. Sweet, we got our forester over here, and so now we can start actually planting trees. I reckon for this area, pine trees will work best because they grow relatively quickly. And that's the main objective of this area, to basically be a tree production facility. So they'll grow every 12 days, which is about once every cycle. So we'll have a relatively constant supply of wood from this area. But otherwise, we have a major construction project underway. And I really do think that that calls for an extra builder's hut. If I get a third builder's hut, that means I have 12 builders, which will help make up for the fact that a lot of this stuff that I'm building is really far away from where my resources are. I unlocked a roof, and I think I'm going to put them on my warehouses, because that kind of is cool. Plus, it'll satisfy aesthetics in the local area, which is kind of neat. I have a fully staffed hauling post, so resources are getting moved around easily, and I have 3 fully staffed builders' huts, so I'm able to transport a lot of materials at the same time to construction sites. I have a massive supply of wood. I have tons of carrots and potatoes. My water, however, is starting to be a little bit of a problem. And it looks like my district center actually can't reach these water buildings down here. Yeah, it looks like they can't reach us this far. This is as far as it goes. So if I want to do this project, I need to build a more efficient path. Hopefully this path down here will do the job. If I can make a more efficient path down here. I didn't realize that districts had an absolute maximum range, and this forester is built right on the edge of that maximum range. Huh, why aren't these spinning? There we go, okay. Looks like they've just, sometimes the water flow isn't right for them. Ooh, I know what I could do. Maybe if I built a couple of levees to force the water through these water mills, that would give me more consistent flow. It'd be expensive, but it would give me more consistent flow. Uh-oh, we've got ourselves another drought in 3 days. Well, this time we have a lot more water available to us, so I'm less worried about this drought than I have been any other drought. So I built up my little bit of levees here, and my hope is that narrowing the flow of the river will give me more consistent water wheel power, and it looks like that's actually working. So we've got a significant amount of gear or plank production now, and we're actually also producing gears from planks. Oh yes, look at it. They're building the little ladder down that I'm making. Or stairways down rather, not ladder. We're using up a lot of planks to build all these things. I do really like how my town is developing though. And I like that I've got like a huge amount of trees growing over here as well. So soon this will be another place where wood is being produced in like massive quantities. And then being fed into these workshops. Because we finally have gears. And having access to gears means we can start building things like these. Now the big downside to water wheel power is that it turns off. But since we are about to go into the dry season, I'm going to raise the floodgates on my dams so I can fully fill up this thing. I will probably get a little bit of spillage, but I'm okay with a little bit of spillage if it means that I end up with a very full reservoir. Because now it just dries up and the dry season has come and the river has already started to recede. My hope is that this level of water that I have is sustainable. And even with pumping, we should be fine. Although it might be a good idea for me to actually learn how to make suspension bridges, like a 2x2 suspension bridge across this gap would allow me to turn this into a floodgate and then still have a way for my beavers to get around. I'm probably not going to turn it into a floodgate during the dry season because I have no way to replenish the water, with the exception of like overspilling from my floodgate here, because I can lower the floodgate right down low enough and then water will actually flow out, which is like really, really cool. Although I don't actually want to do that because I want to be able to continue to pump water over here. Oh yes, we have our stairway to the new dam is all ready. I think I may be able to use this more direct path to actually complete this dam, which is super exciting because I could have a huge pool of water over here that I could draw from using probably not these 2 tanks. In fact, it's probably a good idea if I destroy these and instead put a couple of pumpers over here. I love watching the little train of like army beavers just like walking with their logs so they could build these levees. Although I am kind of reaching the limit of what's possible with my beavers because these jobs are very far out. Like they have to walk such a long way that they don't make a huge amount of progress every day. So I'm kind of at the limit of what this town can sustain in terms of land, at least over here. I don't know where all my gears are going. Am I building something that takes gears? Oh yeah, I'm building this large water tank. Let's go ahead and just delete that, because that's a waste. Because it's not within range of my district, so it can't actually be used. Oh, yes, the path has reached it. It's happening. I'm building my next dam. I'm so excited. You know, in theory, if I really wanted to do something cool, I could even raise this all up one level and make it 3 deep. No, you know what? You never really need more than a 2 deep playing as this faction. But I am low on water. These extra 2 pumpers are necessary. So the second these are complete, I'll need to get my water storage and my water supply up significantly. And here comes the water. We actually used up all of the water in our dam, and I totally forgot to lower my dam, which is kind of neat that we used up all that water. Things went dry there for a second, which is not good, but it's all flowing again. It's coming down over here into my spillway. Yeah, I think you got to deal with evaporation, so that's why you want like high depth on your floodgates so you can store more water. Although I don't actually know, I'm kind of just like speculating. I'm kind of learning this game as I go. Like if I raise this floodgate all the way up, it like slightly affects the flow of the water behind it, but it's not nearly enough until I have all 3 of them built. These things are so expensive. 20 planks and 10, or 20 logs and 10 planks each is a lot of wood. Probably more wood than even your mom wants. Oh yes, second floodgate, max height. I want to constrict the flow of water. I want to fill this area up. Yes, the plan, it's working. It's working. We're doing it. Wait, is there water getting out here somehow? Oh, that's weird. There's like a little trickle of water in this corner. I hope that's not a real trickle. I hope that's a fake trickle. Oh, it's too high. Let's spill. Okay. We overdid it a little bit. We overdid the water just a smidge. But now we have like a bona fide lake. We have a real lake. That's really, really cool. Huh, how are you spilling out? That doesn't make any sense. There's like a spill in the corner here. I thought that levee would block it. I guess I have to build another levee here. But at long last, we can add our extra water storage. And probably most importantly, we now actually have a place where we can put this large water tank and store up to 300 water. Hopefully completing this second little ladder will actually mean these guys are connected to my district, because I invested a lot of resources into them. Ah, yeah, lovely. Look at that. They're just on the edge. So now we have 4 extra water pumps in this little lake reservoir here, and that should mean we have a ton of extra water capacity. I still have over 1,600 science, and it's not like I haven't been spending it. I have been spending my science. I think I'd like to get a paper mill. If I put my paper mill right here and then get rid of these trees, I can easily start producing paper. And then the only thing I'm missing to be able to modify the terrain is an explosive factory and unlocking dynamite. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have the science to just straight up unlock those right now, so I will. So I'll put an explosive factory right here. So that'll need its own water mill. I still have 8 unemployed guys, but I really don't know what to use them for. I think I have plenty of science. I think water is just the big thing. And all my maple trees are ready, so I have plenty of wood in storage. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to go ahead and start producing even more wood, like planks. Let's put in 2 new lumber mills right here, sharing power between 2 wheels. Oh, you know what I should unlock? I should unlock windmills. These are a way for me to generate power constantly without having to, actually run these things. So yeah, let's go ahead and unlock windmills. These make 120 power each, which can actually power a gear workshop. Oh man, I don't need these power wheels. Oh, what a waste of resources. I don't know if that's like a really good spot for a windmill, like it's literally just facing into a mountain, but I suppose the wind coming over the mountain would maybe hit the windmill at like the correct angle to spin it. Oh, explosive factories require metal blocks. Oh, I should cancel that then. Yeah, that's not going to work. That means I'll have to figure out a way to get this scrap, and that'll almost certainly require me to build a colony of some kind, and maybe even get water over here. Ooh, I'm gonna have to supply, I'm gonna have to like supply a colony. I really do think that this is the easiest scrap metal for me to get a hold of. Oh, I see. The windmill produces a variable amount of power. Ah, so it's not a constant supply. So you have to like build a few of them. Now that's okay. I'll add an extra couple of windmills here. This should kickstart my plank production. They're only at 37% efficiency, but 37% efficiency is better than 0. So with 3 windmills potentially cranking away, that'll give me a very, very reliable source of power for this building. Honestly, probably 2 is fine. I could probably add. Yeah, I tell you what, let's add an extra source of planks here. Why not? I like making planks. Boom, 3rd lumber mill. Because we can see the supply and demand is like perfectly reasonable. And a windmill per is more than enough in my opinion. Sure, they produce a changeable amount, but I didn't realize that buildings could actually run at a lower efficiency rate. You didn't have to maximally power them. Like, it's good if you do, but it's not completely necessary. Oh, the wind can end. Well, that sucks. Well, that's fine. So it seems like water power is the most powerful and reliable in the short term outside of droughts. The power wheel is the most reliable, but it takes up a beaver, right? Let's add 2 extra triple lodges. I like the idea of getting another 18 houses for a relatively low cost. At some point though, I'm going to have to completely redesign my housing block to make it more efficient, because it is a pain in the butt to get around here. There's something so satisfying about just like watching all my little beavers run about and do things. Like, the game is so good at like just creating thumbnails, you know, like you zoom out, you change the camera angle a little bit, boom, you got a YouTube thumbnail right there. I definitely feel like I should use this land down over here for something. And then I can't really use this land because it's out of range of my district, but I think I should set up a new district that's like dedicated to purely just grabbing metal and then shipping it back to my capital. Although these people will need like somewhere to live. It'll have to be a somewhat... It probably can't even be a self-sustaining town. They're going to have to rely on probably berries as their subsistent food, and then shipping in any like luxury type foods from outside, because they don't really have fertile land over here. I'm just so happy I have my Giga Dam now though, because if I raise this all the way up, I can store up a huge amount of water, and then just as it's about to overflow, I can pull the gates all the way down and let like the entire river just completely flood out. Like, look how much faster that's flowing. It's even causing backflow here, that I've just released so much water into the river using my floodgate. I know, that's really, really cool to me. Ooh, we could make an artificial lake over here. I think that's going to be one of my goals, is like to make lakes and stuff. Speaking of lakes, I need to make this into a little lake so I have water storage. But yeah, like now I'm just like pumping water out at a ridiculous level. Like, the water is way higher than it used to be. And then I can just be like, nah, no more water. No more water for you. That's it. You dry up. Bye-bye. And then it fills up again. I'm still so confused that there's like a little trickle of water making it out this corner until it overflows. What happens if I just let it overflow? Oh, that's kind of gnarly. Oh, it's making the land green. I don't think that's what's meant to happen. Let's lower the gate. But man, that flow rate is crazy. That's going to be it for me, though. I hope you guys enjoyed this next episode of Timberborn. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.